Hi, I'm Sonia Choquette, Intuitive Guidance Channel. This month, we are talking about how to navigate the most dramatic changes, quite possibly of the year and maybe of your life. This whole month is dedicated to giving you tools and indicating where the challenges may show up and how to respond. I'm working this month with my guides very closely. They're emissaries of the third ray, led by a guide named Joachim, and they talk sometimes. When I put up my hand, they transmit energy, so you might see me occasionally doing this. Now, we're in the thick of a major disruptive cycle on the planet. It's on all levels. There's world stuff disrupting, there's technological stuff blasting through, there's emotional stuff going on, there's a lot of things that have been hidden are coming into light, and it's like, wait a minute, what the heck is going on? It's like this huge purge, this huge explosion of everything that's been locked down. Now, the guides this week, as we're in the middle of this, are here to suggest that the most important thing you can do, the most valuable decision that you can make this month to ensure your safety for sure, your security next, but your well-being, your joy, your sense of meaning and things of the higher nature that really matter, is to be willing to reinvent yourself or open up your ideas of who you are in a big and dramatic way. Now, what does that mean? It means to check your beliefs, to check your attitudes, your opinions, and ask yourself where they're keeping you small. Where are they keeping you attached to things that really are all so very wrong for you? Where are your mental and emotional restrictions holding you back? Because the problem isn't necessarily the world. The problems may be that you are attached to maintaining or holding on to a version of the world that is in the process of imploding so that a new and better version can come through. And this means really look at where you're struggling in life, where you wake up at night with your heart beating, where you get anxious and overwhelmed, or you have these horrible visions of this is the end of the world. Now, the truth is that we're awakening bit by bit. The guides are saying and sharing that your inner senses are awakening. They're coming online. They might be flickering, but not to ignore them or dismiss them. That would be the first thing to change. That what you maybe your whole life have been told is you being weird and too sensitive and what are you talking about and that's not real is actually the most important thing to listen to. It's inner communication telling you that, redirecting you. It's your angels, it's your guides. That's how they communicate. They're not going to send a telegram. They're going to send energy pushing you and bringing your attention to various opportunities and things, encouraging new decisions. So start there and think, am I open to being guided? Am I open to the information and the energy that I am experiencing, or am I fighting it? Am I numbing it out? Am I distracting myself? Am I asking other people what they think? Because this is the absolute biggest change you're being invited to make right now. Take your power back. Be aware, be conscious, be flexible. Open up to that who I have been may not be the very best version of me. It may not be the one that brings me the most happiness. Maybe I'm just clinging to the status quo because it's familiar. The ego brain definitely prefers that, but is your experience fulfilling and rewarding? Things are changing and growth is coming. So change isn't death, it's growth. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. I remember when I started working with one of my master teachers when I was very young. He said, you only know you're growing when you're uncomfortable. And he said, my job is to make you as miserable as you can be. And then he laughed and thought that was hilarious. And he did. I really had to grow. The way we're growing, the first way to grow is to begin to accept your intuitive faculties are real, they're natural, and they're actually starting to spontaneously work, and not to ignore them. That feeling when you walk in a room and you really can sense the energy of the room, trust it. That ability to all of a sudden have an instant download that you should do something very different, at least consider it, if not say yes. The sudden urge to get up out of your chair and go outside for a very long walk, those are your healing guides. And so begin to let this new information not only come to your attention, but actually implement it. Actually say yes to these energies and move with them, because this is how your angels and guides and higher self are intensely trying to help you. Intensely. A lot of us are under the impression that information will give us the ability to change, but how many of you have all the information in the world, been through therapy, have had guidance, counseling, and you're not confused at all, but you haven't changed one bit? You're still in the same place. The guidance this month is that needs to stop. That being complacent or passive or checked out, it's got to stop. And the more you are those things, the more dramatically you'll experience upheaval around you. But if you're aware, if you're perceptive, if you're listening to your heart, if you're paying attention to the energy communicating to you, then this is a time to pivot into a much higher, more grounded frequency, much more satisfying. It's an art to change, and it's a challenge to the ego. I remember years ago, a friend of mine who I met along the way came from Bulgaria. And in Bulgaria, she was a very elegant, very evolved college professor. But in America, she was nobody. She was nobody. They came for, I don't even really have the full backstory of why the whole family came. She came with her husband and 2 daughters, but they had to start over, and it was really hard for their egos. Now, they trusted their vibes far enough to come, but it didn't stop there. That was the beginning. She at first started just cleaning houses, and she said, I could have been really indignant about it, but I liked cleaning. I clean my own house. So I didn't make it a big deal, but I didn't see that as who I was. It was a means to an end while I started a school, a language school for Bulgarians in America. And I started this beautiful community. And within 5 years, she was getting national awards and recognition. She reinvented herself. She was listening to her guidance and reinvented herself. I totally admired her. She had such an elegant unfolding. But her husband, who had a very respectable business, I don't remember what it was, but he was a boss. He had employees, and it wasn't labor. He wasn't willing to reinvent himself. He didn't like being in this new place. He didn't want to try something new. He didn't consequently go to work. And more and more he became more and more depressed and angry, and eventually got sick and died. He was still a young man. He was in his mid-50s. So apparently, on some energetic level, he decided, this is the only version I'm going to be in. It's done. I'm done. And I'm not suggesting that you either change or you die, but I am suggesting that change is inevitable. And the more you're willing to reinvent yourself by following your guidance and letting that be the first thing you change, is that you don't dismiss it, second guess it, question it anymore, or think it's weird. That you see, this is a superpower I have, and it's going to guide me in how do I express the next best version of me. The next best version that I can share and create, and it could be definitely better than what I have, who I am and how I'm expressing now. I have another friend I know who went to school and he did very poorly in school. He said I was really a mess up. I intentionally didn't focus or concentrate. He had learning challenges, and he said it just was hard for me. So while my friends were clipping along and ended up going to college, I dropped out. Then, out of shame, I lived in my parents' basement, which was really embarrassing. But while everybody else's lives are moving along, he said, I started to read self-help books about people who succeeded. I started to read classics. I started to study energy and intuition. I studied self-help and mental development. And within 6 years, now it took 6 years, not 6 months. Within 6 years, he started to manifest big things. One of his first manifestations was there was a period of time about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe more, where there was something called NFTs. It was digital art. It's kind of a fad and a craze at the time. Maybe it'll come back. But he said he invested in it and he made over $1 million very quickly. Blew him away. So he didn't consider that, but he realized I used my creativity. I was guided to that. I did it. It worked. So we got better and better at that. Now, a decade and a half later, 15 years later, he is traveling around the world teaching company leaders how to train their employees to visualize and manifest these magnificent outcomes. So he went from what he called a skateboard loser to a world-class consultant because he only sat for a minute feeling sorry for himself, and then he started creating a new version. Now, this is the number one thing we have to do this month. What versions of you are really asking for recognition? A very dear friend of mine, who is a fantastic coach, came to me this week and said, I think I want to go into design. It's not that I don't like coaching or love it, but I want to do this other thing. What should I do? I wasted my life. And I was like, no, you didn't. It's time to go into design now. Design, whether you're designing the human spirit, helping it design harmony and alignment, or designing a space, same versions of the energy of bringing things into alignment and beauty and harmony. That's what your soul wants to do, is more. And with design, it's not caretaking. It's not as energetically draining. So I don't know if she will or not, but these are the kinds of insights coming through now. And these are the kinds of ways in which the angels and guides you pray and ask and hope help you are trying to help you. So it's up to you to recognize that. Put in the comments, all comments below, where your soul is redirecting you. And it'll be suggestions that you think are absurd, crazy. That's crazy. That's exactly what you want to pay attention to first. The things that your ego, mind, and habits dismiss. This is a time where those are the true gold for your future. You are intuitive, you are guided, and you are far more creative in far more ways than you believe, in far more ways than you've been trained. So we're in a new world order, and we all have to make way for the new. We have to allow for the new. We have to embrace the new instead of mourn endlessly that things are not what they used to be. Just go back to pre-COVID. Go back. There was a time where we never thought a thing about moving about freely in the world. And now through COVID, we're very changed. Think about AI, very changed. Think about all the shifting of energies, and what you see right now in the outer world, which I recommend you don't watch too closely, is all the old energies and leaders trying to stop growth, holding on to power, doubling down on terror, and it's going to end. The world doesn't want that. The majority of the world doesn't want that. So we can't stop change. It's marching on. But this change is raising our vibration to higher consciousness, higher evolution, higher, more empowered beingness, where our lives don't have to be in so much fear and threat and struggle. Now, right now, there's a big battle against change, against change, and a lot of egos going at each other, and it's really ugly to watch, so don't. Instead, put your attention on the inside and listen to your own guidance. I'm going to give you a tool now to help you. I want you to consider trying something called spontaneous or extemporaneous writing. This is a way to preempt writing and talking to your guides. Sit down with a piece of paper and a pen in an uninterrupted or place or circumstance for at least 30 minutes. And then I want you to write on the paper, I am invoking and calling forward my higher self, my creator, and my spirit team. I want you to help me be made aware of where to pivot, what to open up to, and what to allow in my life that I haven't identified yet, or I am resisting. Then I want you to take the pen and start writing as if you are answering, and make it up. Don't fight it. Don't say this is dumb. Don't let your ego hold you back, because this is called channeled writing. And you can start by saying, I don't know, but if I were my higher self and my guides and God and the universe, I would say start here and just start writing. Now, don't bother with this unless you're really open and curious, but it shows you, even in this exercise, are you open to doing something completely new, completely different? That's what this is about. And just see what happens. Just see what you write. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to listen to it. But maybe, because your hand is connected to your heart, to your higher self, something fabulous will come through. Something you never thought about. Case in point, I have a friend of mine who reached out to me about 3 months ago and said, I'm my photography career, which has been very rewarding, is coming to an end. I have a place I own that I can no longer afford, a big, beautiful ranch that I love dearly, but is too hard to maintain. I don't know what kind of work. AI has taken me out of business. I don't know what to do. I'm in trouble. And I said, well, I'll talk to you in 3 months. But before I give you guidance, I want you to check inside and ask your higher self to lead you to answers. Just open up, that you will find you're being redirected. This is maybe the end of this version of you, but it could be the beginning of something wonderful. And he said, come on, I'm 72. But really, fast forward, I heard yesterday that he was at lunch with friends and some people he had photographed. And one of them said, one of the most in-demand arenas right now is mature male modeling, because everybody's living for so long. And it just struck a chord in him. He is a good-looking guy. And he said, you know what, that's really interesting. And quite spontaneously, he applied to a major modeling agency, and they instantly hired him. So now he's on a different track altogether, on the other side of the camera. And he said, because my ego isn't involved and I don't need affirmation of who I am, I can enjoy this. I love the world of fashion. I love the beauty. I love clothes. I'm going for it. As for his ranch, he said, you know what? I've been feeling for at least a decade that it has served its purpose and I need to simplify so I can travel. It's exactly what that he's doing, putting it up for sale. So that's a pivot that has a happy ending. So imagine in your pivots, it will have a happy ending. Your guides are helping you, but don't resist. Be helpable. Really, be helpable. Let this new version of you come through. I have another client that I spoke to on the phone, never met, and I said, you clearly have a calling to healing, but you're fighting it. What's going on? Well, I don't have a degree, blah, blah, blah. I said, wait a minute. That's rationalization. What's actually going on? And he shared that he had been a drug addict and he had been an alcoholic. He had been sober for many, many years. And he learned somatic healing, and he learned how to do some energy healing combined with some coaching that he was capable of sharing due to his own life journey. And he said, a lot of people really enjoy it. But he said, that's your new version of you, and all that led up to this. Why the resistance? Why are you fighting this? This is so fulfilling for you. And he did say something very telling. He goes, well, I don't have the credentials. And I said, from whom? What credentials? You're not offering yourself as a psychologist or a psychiatric therapist, and you have somatic training. Just say yes. Here's a key to when saying yes is aligned with spirit. He laughed. That's one of the ways in which you can tell you're actually getting spirit guidance, angel guidance, is when it comes, it surprises you, but you laugh. That's relief. That's joy. That's the spirit going, yes, I got your attention. So try it with the writing. See if anything just leaves you feeling like your mind is quiet, you're calm, you're relieved, you have a pass. The end of the road means it's the beginning of a new one. And that is the major, major, major message of this month. We are changing. It's not the bad news. Don't let it be. Thanks for tuning in. Please leave in your comments again, write down what it is that you are receiving about change. What has to change? And say yes, even if you don't know how. Ask your guides through automatic writing. I have a book called Read Life Accurately. That was published recently as well. That'll give you the tools for more intuitive learning to read energy skills. Read Life Accurately. It'll be in the notes along with Soul Mastery. And if you need community, check out my Good Vibes Tribe community, because we do really better when we are surrounded with people who champion us and get us and love us as we are. And that is what I've created there. So those 3 things are in the notes. And if you like this or found it valuable, please give me a thumbs up, because it helps let other people know it's worth watching. And better yet, if you'd like to stay with me in this growth cycle, please subscribe. And best yet, share this with someone and ask them to subscribe with you so that you could work together and work these tools together. It's been a real pleasure being with you, and I'll see you next month. All my love.